Pew, 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 pew. You've tuned in to the Stay in Your Lane show. Testing, testing. How's everybody doing out there? You are in for a treat for the Stay in Your Lane show. We got a special guest. When I say special, I mean special. That's right. This show is sponsored by BW Pro Techniques. You make sure you log on to www.bwprotechniques for any type of merchandise. Yeah, I'm working on my radio voice. All right. This is your host, the funniest man in comedy, aka the funniest Olympic champion in comedy, aka the cameraman for the R. Kelly video, aka your mom's favorite rapper, aka Mr. Balls Deep the Fifth, aka the one and only baby daddy, aka Mr. Prompt Child Support Payer. All right, that's right. Sound like something from the Silver Shadows. Yeah, but we got a special guest tonight. This is a 5-time world champion and good person and doing great in her community. Oh, she is here. It's coming in on the scene.
Okay. Hey, what's going on?
Hey!
Good.
How you doing, champ? All right, all right. I always try to interject
Okay.
a little comedy, so I'll try not to be
Okay.
offensive. Yeah, so how you doing
I'm
today?
doing well.
Did you have a
I
good
did. I
Easter?
did. I got a chance to cook, so that was exciting. I feel like it's been a while since I've
Okay,
cooked like that. I feel like I cook often, but to cook like that, it's been a while. So yeah.
okay.
I made
What did you cook?
fish, fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, green beans and potatoes, and I made something else. 1, 2, 3. Oh, some like corn, like the corn that's in the no, but that one's good
In a
too.
can?
But the one that's in the stock already, you put it in the oven and cook it that way. Okay. So yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Cat Williams. He was getting on this woman. He said, "What do you like to cook?" She said, "Well, I do a little broccoli." He said, "Oh, you don't know how to cook. All you know how to do is heat things up."
Oh
He
my
said, "Oh, you should see what I
God.
do with corn. I
Oh
take it
my
and I shake it
goodness.
I shake it out the can like that,
Mm-hmm.
and I put a little parsley on
Not
it."
parsley. He wrong for that. He is wrong.
Yeah, shouts out to Cat Williams.
Oh my
Now, I
goodness.
should do the whole interview with his voice. Now, first of all, tell us. I'm just trying. I ain't gonna do that. Now, who
Um,
is Jessica Beard?
who am I? I have so many uh I guess hats I would say, like roles. I think it just really depends on who you talk to. Uh, you know, it really just depends on who you talk to. But for me, it's so hard to really define myself because I've been so much. I don't know if I define myself from like a family aspect. I don't know if I define myself from a athletic standpoint, from a religious standpoint, like who I am in my faith. Um, but I don't know. Like I said, it depends on who you talk to, and
I
so
love that
yeah,
answer. I love
have
that.
many roles, and so
Cool.
um, yeah. But I guess today I'm the athlete. I'm Jessica Beard, the athlete. And then that goes to Euclid High School. I'm an Aggie, Texas A&M. I'm Team USA.
Hey, hey, I was getting there. I was going to get there. I was going to get there. But yeah, you're so many. But I always like to ask my guests,
Yeah.
who are you? And then some people tell me
Okay.
I'm my mama's son. Okay, I'm that kid that everybody prayed over, and so Yeah, I always like to hear, everybody's response, but you're so right. You have so many hats, so many phases in life.
Yeah.
Depends on who you ask. I like that.
So
Yeah. Now, where are you
I was
from?
born in Cleveland, Ohio, and when I was in the ninth grade, I moved to Euclid, Ohio. So I always tell people I'm from Euclid, or unless they ask, like, "Oh, where are you from in Ohio?" And I always say Cleveland because unless you're really kind of from the city, um, people not gonna really know you. But
Right.
yes, oh, motivated friend, such a oh, thanks, man. The Aggie, oh my gosh.
Hey.
So, so yeah, I'm from
Dog,
Ohio.
dog,
I'm,
dog.
and like I said, the Cleveland area, Euclid, Ohio, to be exact, because that's where I started my running career. So I feel like that's where I'm, what I'm known for when it comes to the running aspect. So,
Yeah.
tell me
Now,
Tuesday.
when did you start?
Um,
When did you
when I was
start
in the
running
ninth
track?
grade. So I'm a late bloomer. If you a lot of people are like, oh, I started when I was 6 and 7, and I was playing basketball. It's my first
Hmm.
love, and I wanted to. People
Oh
like,
man,
what?
you
I
too? You
banged
had
on
hoop
karate.
dreams?
I'm like, I'm going to UConn. Y'all can't tell me nothing. Whole time, in high school, I
Yeah.
played 4-5. Hi, Reese. I played the 4 and the 5 in high school, but the reality is, if I went to college, definitely would have been a point guard. Can't dribble. I was really like a Shaq, I was doing jump balls with the girls that was 6'4". I had the ups, but I could not dribble to save my life. He was like, pass the ball. Like nobody would, when they not like defending people because they can't shoot, that was me. But like my freshman year, I averaged 16 points. If I would have made free throws, I would have averaged 20. So I was good, but I mean, my dreams of going to UConn probably not so, not so. So
Oh man. Oh man. We have the same thing. I made the high school basketball team after getting cut. And I spent a lot of time on the bench and I could not control my speed or my handles the same thing. But that's an interesting thing because you started in the ninth grade, but you actually won your state
yeah, so
title
I won
four
my
years
freshman
in a
year.
row.
I ended up winning my freshman year.
Ah.
I was tied for the number 2 time in the state. Um, the
Mm-hmm.
I didn't win though. It was a girl named Heather. Shout out to Heather. And I did not beat her until district, and she was runner up at state when I was in middle school in her junior year at the same school. So it was really hard beating her.
Okay.
But I finally got her at district. She went on to do high jump and everything. I mean, she could do all these other things as well. So good. Um, and we went in. Well, when I went into state, the other girl who had the same time as me, why were we in the prelims together? I'm like, why would y'all do this? And let me tell you, she told me
Hey, it's
up.
time to
No,
run.
I was in there like, oh my gosh, I got another round of this tomorrow. Like, and I was so grateful for one of my
Mm.
best friends, Makita. She was like, girl, tomorrow's a new day. Like, don't let today discourage you. And so that really helped me.
Yes.
And I mean, she has it on like VHS, which is crazy. She has the race on VHS. I mean, we both were like dipping at the line. I mean, I barely won, but it was just an experience to have, my first year. And I still didn't love track more than basketball. I'm like, okay, like hoop dreams.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
so yeah.
Now we were in high school. What was it like for you to win that silver medal at the
Um,
World Juniors?
it was a really good feeling. It was my first time traveling
Must
like
have been
out of the
amazing.
country. Um, because I want to say
Hmm.
what 2011, 2006 we went to Beijing for World Juniors and we won like the 4x4. Like that was the first time I ever took an ice bath. Um, First time I ever did all the routines, had a masseuse, these things that I'm like, I'm a kid from Ohio. I don't know what these things are. And it was an amazing feeling because it's
Mm.
something to go outside of your own bubble. I had been in the Ohio bubble. Once I went to
Hmm.
nationals, I was like, oh, this is the USA bubble. And then it was like, oh my gosh, I'm in China going against like Jamaica and Great Britain and Russia. I'm like, oh, this is like the world bubble. So that was really a great experience for me
Hmm.
because it really taught me that there was even more outside of um, where I was. Like there's more to be, um, I don't want to say conquered, but more to attain if I wanted it. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that is so cool. For real. Now, what made you
I
choose
didn't
the
choose it.
400? Like, when you first start out in sprinting, people used to go, I'm gonna choose the one or the two. What made you pick? Like, what is it about the
I
400?
was
What
forced.
made that for you?
I would say I'm here. I went to tryouts. And the first day was like the 100,
Right.
and I started in like lane 1. Mind you, I ended in lane 8. People
Hmm.
were very upset. That's what I'm saying. I just ran on across. Like they're like, "Hey, get out the way!" Like, and so I was like, "Okay, this is not the event for me. Not this one." Um, I did the 800 next, I think, and like I got to the line. It was like, "You got another lap." I'm like, so I'm like, "Yeah, this is not for me either." And then I did the 400, and my coach
Oh,
said hand time the first time I ever ran it. He said, "You ran same arm and same leg the whole race," and I ran 64 hand time. He was like, "Oh, maybe." He said, "You probably could go faster if you didn't run same arm, same leg." And I was like, I can't believe this.
mm,
So yeah, so it kind of chose me. But I was like, I do not like this, but it was better than the
yeah.
800. Because I did not like that. But
Yes.
we were state champs in the 4x8. I split 206. We state runner up before. So I mean, anything was better, and I did cross country. I was like, all these things are better than this. All these things are.
Oh,
Yes, I was
wow.
a
You did cross
participant. I
country
tell
too?
people that.
Y'all hear that, kids?
I was a
Listen. She
participant.
did
Let me
cross
tell you, Emily
country,
Enfield
y'all.
was up there. I think I was running like 21 minutes for the 5K, 22. Emily was running like 16. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stay in my lane. People's like, you a state champ. Get up there
Mm,
in the 400, in the 400.
stay in your
So
lane.
yeah.
Yes. Oh man. Now, did your
My mom
parents
claims she
participate in
swam when she
sports?
was pregnant with me, but I can't even swim. I'm like, you got to stop trying to take the credit. I cannot swim. I cannot swim. So, yeah. Uh,
Oh man. Now, what
He
about your
did.
dad? Did your
He
dad
did. My
participate?
dad ran at University of Cincinnati, so he ran track. He did like 800 and things like
Nice.
that. Um, so yeah, that for sure. Yeah, for
So you had
sure.
some good genetics. Yeah. Now, do you have any siblings
No,
that run or play
man, let me tell you,
sports?
the only thing I experienced with my siblings is that my, especially my two oldest brothers, we always used to go to the basketball court, and they was like, "What you gonna do when you got a big body
Hmm.
girl?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, why is y'all double teaming me like this?" And we played basketball a lot. They played basketball in high
Yes.
school and things like that. But I
Oh
was
man.
I was I'm the only
Nice.
girl, and I'm the youngest, so I was around. I was super competitive. I just wanted to compete. I used to, race my brother to the car door, who get there first, and that kind of thing.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah, that is fantastic. Yeah. So what was some of the challenges that you had to deal with before you obtained
um,
world champion
I think the
status?
biggest thing is so different. It's so different these days. Like with NIL and going pro early and things like that. I made my first senior
Mm,
team my sophomore year in college, so everybody was like, "Oh, you're gonna go pro." I got third at USA's behind Sonya one,
wow.
and Debbie Dunn, I think, got second. And so a lot of people were like, "Oh, no, there's no point in you going back to college." But for me, I was like, well, I got second at NC's. Like, I really wanted to win. And so I think the biggest thing
Yeah.
with the idea of like going pro was, did I actually accomplish all the things I personally wanted to set out and do? I mean, if you ask kids now and they could go pro early, they're
Hmm.
like, "Psh, why am I staying in school?" Like that. It's just something that I feel like back in my time, 12 years ago, going pro was, I don't know, it wasn't really a thought for me. It was like, okay, I need to do these things first. I need to make sure, I finish school. And it's amazing just to see how things have transpired. I think it's good that kids can go pro, and whether it's from high school or whatever. But I think the biggest obstacle I had, because I mean, I signed coming out of college. I signed a 6-year contract coming out of college. And so some of the problems I think some people have, or that I realized, like, everybody doesn't get signed. Everybody doesn't get a shoe contract. Like, some people have to support themselves. Those weren't the things I really had to worry about. But I did have like a major injury my first year out, which I did not know until after the Olympic trials. When I got like a second MRI, they was like, "Yeah, you have a partially torn Achilles." So um, But all year
Ooh.
I just was like, put the heel cup in, because, and so I think that was my biggest obstacle. Like, am I going to get back to who I was and how I was? Am I ever going to be the same again, that top level performer? I mean, I made the trials, but I got last place.
Mhm.
I got seventh. So it was like, yeah, I got seventh. So it wasn't, like I said, I had got third 2 years prior. So I think that was my biggest obstacle, believing in myself and would I actually get back to where I was and, for me, like who I was, because so much of
Mhm.
my identity and how I saw myself was in track. Like, oh my gosh, because I won the Barman. I finally
Mm.
won that. I won NCAAs in the 400 and the 4x4. And so it went from that to me, like getting seventh at the trials was like so low on the total poll. I was like, oh, I should have been there, after coming off my senior year. I got to run in the prelims and the finals of the 4x4. I made the semifinals of the Open 400 at Worlds. And so it was just I think that was the biggest obstacle. Am I going to get back to how I was and who I was before this injury? Because with Achilles, they were like, oh, you don't need surgery. Well, surgery would have been like 50-50. I'm like, yeah, I take my chances. But it was really hard because, I feel like when you
Mhm.
have injuries, when you feel
Mhm.
something, it's like that hurt. But sometimes it's like, no, it's not hurt. It's just a symptom of the healing process. And so that was my biggest, I guess, obstacle.
Now, how did you overcome
Shout
that?
out to Tanja Buford Bailey. I remember meeting
Yes,
her at
Tanja.
I mean, she recruited me when I was in high school, but I met her in 2013, and she asked like, what's going on? And I told her, and she told me her story about how she really struggled at one point in time, and how her husband really encouraged her and helped her, and was like, look, forget what all those people saying. Like, are you gonna get out there and really do it and be 100% or not? Because if you're not, then like get off the track.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, your husband told you that. But she talked about how that motivated her, and so she just told me the advice that she gave me, just to really focus on getting back to and believing in myself and what I was doing. So that was
Yeah.
really helpful, along with, of course, physical therapy and just my coach, Coach Vince Anderson, just really helping me through that time and being patient with me, because like I said, I was really a scaredy cat. I feel like once you have some type of major injury, everything you feel, your question like, is that the injury again? Is that the injury again? So I had, yeah.
But that's natural,
So I
though.
had a
That is
really
not.
good
That
team
is
around
natural.
me, but I was grateful for like her words of inspiration and things like that, and um yeah, and just really my friend Jody, who's like a chaplain, and she with Athletes in Action, she helped me a lot too, because at the trials I just realized like it just wasn't my time. A lot of times it's like, oh, I have an injury and that's why I can't be here, but I mean, you see things like Michael Jordan with the flu and he still gets it done, or you hear about the different people in the Olympics and somebody died. Who was it? Felix Sanchez, his grandma died, and how like that. So it's all about timing
Hmm.
and whether or not it's your time, and if it's predestined for you to, reach a certain goal or reach a certain point. And so for me, Jody really helped me just accept, like, you know what, it's just right now it's just not my time. It's not just because I have this injury. It does matter that I have it, but if it was supposed to be, then it would have been. And so my faith really helped me, because it was like, if I never get to the top again, like, will I still have my faith? Will I still hold on to it? Will I still speak well about God, who I'm brag about him when I'm winning and I'm doing well, but will I still serve him in that same capacity? So all those different people
Yes.
and yeah, things really helped me get through it.
Yes. Hey, Marvin Bracy in the
Bracy.
building. Pew, pew, pew. Yeah, that is incredible. Like, see, this is what I'm talking about for stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. It always is a connection, because it always
Yeah.
goes from the beginning for me with faith. I did a lot of things, and I'm one of those ones who dropped out of school too, to go for my
Mm-hmm.
dreams, and then went back to graduate and going through injury. So I know exactly, but I'm glad that you can tell your story on my platform. And, I coach a lot of kids, and, it's just good that they can hear your story,
Yeah.
because you are incredible. Now tell us the history, and tell us the secret to a
You
rip
got to
six
get with
pack,
Tommy
please.
Tuesday. You got to get on the program. You got to get on the Tummy Tuesday program.
Okay,
But
Tummy Tuesdays. Now, how do we get on Tummy
you
Tuesdays?
know, you
Tell us
know,
about it.
if you
Where
don't,
can we get
a
on?
lot of people already have the program. So I have a Tummy Tuesday program, but really, to be honest, it's a
Yes.
lifestyle. Being healthy is a lifestyle, and I think that we hear people talk about it, but just being active, I decided to create Tummy Tuesday. Shout out to my boyfriend because he did help me he was like, you should turn this into a concept because I mean I really do abs and things like that. And people was like, how do you get your abs so ripped? If I just do
Yes.
this ab, if I just do that ab, but I realized it's not just the abs, it's also what I'm putting in my body as far as nutrition, as far as hydration and
Yeah.
exercising. But Tummy Tuesday will get you together because I'm trying to tell you, I have my kids do different things and they're like, you know what, this is too much.
Yes. Tummy Tuesdays
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yes.
All right, now that we know about Tummy Tuesdays, what would be a cheat meal for you? Where you just worked so hard for like all this time, now it's time to
I
get
love
grubbing. What's the
sweets.
cheat meal?
I love sweets. cu-
Cookies,
Cheesecake.
cake,
With
or
cherry cheesecake with fresh cherries on top. I do love chocolate cake. If I do yellow cake, you gotta have chocolate
hmm.
icing. If I do um white cake, you gotta have a white icing. Like I like my different cakes. Skin cake, yes.
So you love
I love
food
desserts.
too.
So if I could have a cheat meal, it would be some type of dessert at the end. So my boyfriend's like, "Do
Mhm.
you always gotta eat? You just ate." I said, "30 minutes ago, it's time for a dessert. It's time for a snack." So
Well, that is incredible, man. Because when I saw your abs, I
yeah,
was like, "Whoa!"
yeah.
I was like, "She is cut up." I went into my now, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So what inspired you to become an ag
To be
Texas
honest,
A&M?
it's something. Some people I've told my story to and things like that. Originally, I had visited 4 schools, and I had already made my choice of where I was going to
Mm-hmm.
go to school. Um, and I called the coach, and I was calling, and I left a message, and I never got a call back. And I found out maybe a
Mm.
week or so later from my dad, like that the coach was leaving that university. So I opened my visits back up. I actually got mad at Coach Anderson. I don't even realize why I was so mad about it had something to do with, he said, good job on your race. And he said a time. I was like, actually, I ran 23:95. I'm like, why was I so upset? I don't know why I was angry. And I remember telling my dad, like, I don't think he'll want me to come on a visit because that's the only other school I want to open my visits back up to. And he was like, no, they
Yeah.
want you to come. And so I went there, and I always tell kids, I was like, it was the worst visit. Like, the stuff they got now, we didn't have that. But I just told them, like, I came late in the
Right.
season. I
Yeah. Yeah.
the thing that really sold me is, one, Coach Anderson told me, like, what you see is what you get. So it wasn't like I was going to get something new. A lot of the girls told me that I would be successful wherever I go. I don't feel like that was a message I received from a lot of different athletes. It was kind of like, you'll be successful only if you come to our school or join our program.
Mm.
And so to receive that message from them, and I mean, it was very different. I was being called ma'am a lot. I was like, I'm not old. And they were like, oh, this is the South. So this is yeah, that's what they
It's like
said.
respect, though,
It's a
right?
sign of respect. So, and they said howdy a lot. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, what is howdy? And so all that was very different for me, but I made a pros and cons list. And on paper, for me, Texas A&M was the best choice. Texas A&M was the best choice on paper. There were other schools that, had people had done more, achieved more. But all I saw was that the year before I came, Clora Williams had won the NCAA championship in the 400. And because a lot of people was like, they ain't won nothing. They haven't done anything. And I was like, well, they got one champion, which lets me know that I too can become a champion. Or I could have been the first champion. So, like, that was my mindset in
Nice.
going to the school. Like, it has these things, they said, make sure you choose somewhere where you would, what did they tell me? Make sure you choose a school where you would want to, if the coach left, you would want to stay. Uh, you know, like I said, I pretty much got along
Mm,
with the girls as well, and just them being telling me I would be successful wherever I go. They were welcoming. Every school wasn't like that, unfortunately. Maybe
mm,
because I was the fastest. Like some of the
mm,
schools, I was already the fastest on their team. Like I would have been the fastest coming in, and so I don't think that the
mm.
athletes were as inviting. But excuse me. But other than that, that's how I chose A&M, and it was the best decision for me that I made. I was so happy. We won three. We got the triple double with the team championships, and I
Yep.
also got to win individual championship. And um, so
Beep,
yeah.
beep, beep, beep,
But it
beep,
was it was a
beep,
hard choice to make
beep.
because some of the other schools were known for like you know the 400 and other places like that. So I
Mhm.
had three schools in Texas. So I, I mean, the likelihood of me going to Texas actually, I'm now considering pretty high. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, that is fantastic. Now, I remember Vince Anderson when he
Okay.
he recruited me as well, and he
Tennessee.
was at the University of Tennessee. Yes, and this was in '97, and this was when No Limit Soldiers, Master P was out. So, um,
Mhm.
and a fight broke out at a party. And what was his name? I don't want to say
Mhm.
his name. I don't want to put him on blast, but he was like, "Well, I hope you don't let that stop you from coming here." And I was like, "No, man, this is
Mhm.
nice. This is cool."
Mhm.
And Vince, he was honest, and I just knew I was going. But the only reason why I didn't go to the University of Tennessee
Mhm.
because I didn't get the SAT minimum required. So once I did get it, because they just cut me off, I just didn't want to go back. It's like y'all just dropped me off. It's like, all right, well, let me
Yeah.
go somewhere else where somebody wants me. But he was my first recruiter, and he was awesome. And then his coaching styles, because he coached,
Yes.
he studied under Tom Tellez, and I knew he knew what he was talking about. You know what I mean? And it ended up
Yeah.
working out for you though. So yeah. Now
Yeah.
switching gears,
Yeah.
when you became pro, did you notice a difference in the way they treated men athletes versus women athletes?
Um,
Or like
I think
favoritism, or like did they treat the guys
I think
better
there
than the
was a lot
girls?
of
Like did you experience
I
any of
think
that?
there was a lot of favoritism just with like a hierarchy of athletes. Like these are the top athletes. These are the athletes
Mm,
who would have like, I learned like, wow, some of the top level athletes actually have a lot of say on like maybe who's on the relay, who they feel
mhm.
comfortable giving them the baton, who they don't want on the relay. I think
Mm,
I dealt more with that, or those are things that just were more noticeable for me because
mhm.
yeah, more noticeable for me because I mean I was trying to be on the relay or I was, trying to get a spot and it was almost just
Right,
like y'all already got this figured out. Y'all already know who's gonna be on the team. I thought y'all said like
right.
if you do this, if you run this time or the four fastest, whatever, this is
Yeah,
how
you
it's
got an
gonna be. So
honest
for
chance.
me,
Yeah.
that
Oh,
was the biggest surprise being a professional athlete. Like, oh my gosh, it's not always fair. Like I thought y'all said y'all wanted to be fair.
right.
And um I think that was really the most challenging part. You realize like some of the coaches already got favorites. Some of the coaches already have athletes in their mind that they've seen and they can trust. Like I want to say in 2013 we didn't have Sonya or Allison, and I remember them telling Francina
Mm-hmm.
like Sonya's been the only because they both got hurt. It's like Sonya's been our only anchor since 2004. So it's like, oh my
Mm,
gosh, y'all have never entrusted anybody. And I get why Sonya, this is like no shade or anything, but to me, it's just how things were kind of, well, I get why she
politics.
was always number one in the world or number two. So I get why she was anchor, but I'm just saying
Mm-hmm.
how they were comfortable with her being anchor. So it made it difficult. I just found it difficult to kind of fill those big
Mm-hmm.
shoes. Like all of us was like, man, we don't want to be anchor
Yeah.
because Sonya's been anchor. And you remember she walked the Russian girls
Right.
down. It was like, if I can't do that, then it's almost like you can't be Sonya.
Yeah. You don't
Yeah.
want to let
Yes, I
USA. You don't
understand.
want
You
to let
getting
USA
second is
down.
not people are
Yeah.
not happy with
It's
second. That's
pressure.
a hard truth that I had to learn. It was just like y'all lost because y'all didn't have Allison and Sonya. And I'm like, Well, you know, I end up finding out later, like, no, we lost him. He's
Mm.
going to get drugs. Like that's really why we lost. So I think that,
Right.
because I'm for real, because Russia beat us, and then like the Russian scandal came out later, and you know we got upgraded to
Yes,
our medal.
facts.
So me saying that we got cheated is not just
Yep.
a generalization. It's me saying, hey, they said that they cheated and
Yes.
they upgraded our medals. And so for me, I think that was the hardest part, trying to
Yes.
find my place in the professional world. Because in college, I was always anchor. But a lot of times, I was first leg as a professional. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never run this leg. So I always hear athletes say, like, this is my leg. And I had to learn, like, they was like, if you want to run, this
Mm.
gonna be your leg. I'm like, well, that's my leg. I'm first because I want to run. And
That's
so
right. That's
I think
right.
that was the hardest part, trying to fill really big shoes. Somebody like Allison and Dee Dee Trotter and Sonya and
Yes.
Lashinda Demas. It was just like all these people are like Olympic and world champions, and like coming in, people just don't trust you. They're like, hey, you a college kid. Like, I don't really trust you. I haven't really seen you under this type of pressure. Like, I've seen you on the college stage, or I've seen you maybe in a race, but I don't really know how you'll handle 50,000 people or 70,000 people. You know, you only been handling 5,000 or
Yeah.
500. So that was the biggest thing for me, just trying to fill big shoes in a way where, you know, you can make a name for yourself. I think that's the hardest thing, because I'm like,
Yeah.
none of us are ever gonna be them. You know, Francino is a great anchor leg, but her and Sonya, they're two different people, but they still both are, you know, greats in our sport. And so I think that was just really, really important.
But
Yeah, you know,
you handled your business.
It was something about the
You
Rio,
handled
because
your
you gotta
business.
do it for Team USA. Because I'm trying to tell you, getting second, I don't like second.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think that was the
Right.
biggest challenge.
Right. So you know, only reason why I also asked too, because off the track, I noticed a lot of things in
Mm-hmm.
reference to obstacles. And a lot of people are uncomfortable talking about
Mm-hmm.
when women get
Okay.
harassed in track and field. You know, what messages do you have for the young people coming up that may face these things, where it could be a coach, it could be a physio, it could be a
Mm-hmm.
meat promoter, you know, all of a sudden they're flirting with you, but
Yeah.
then if you want this money, or if you want to, you know, run this lane, like, what do you have to say to prepare the young people, the young girls, the young women that are going to come up and
I would say
see that
speak up
eventually?
and speak out. You'd be surprised how many people would be on your side. And if people aren't on your side when obviously wrong is being done, then you should reevaluate those people that are on your team or on your camp. I know I had an experience like that my first year out, where I needed new spikes. You know, I had a new sponsor, and somebody was in charge of taking me to, you know, it was like an aide to the meat director, and they were in charge of taking me to the store, and they were like, oh, I just need to stop here. And mind you, I'm just like, okay, like I'm just, and I realized, I'm like,
Right.
I was like, I'll wait in the car. And they're like, no, it's not safe here. Mind you, I'm in another country. I don't speak their language. And so I go,
Right.
you know, I was like, okay, well, I was like, well, I'll wait right here in the living room. And it really became a
Hmm.
scary moment for me, because even though I'm an adult, I'm like, I'm somewhere where I don't know people. People don't know me. We don't speak the same language. And it was like the person, oh, can I kiss you? Like,
Hmm.
it was really scary. I was like, we supposed to go to the shoe store.
Yeah.
Why are we here? Like, you know, the person clearly had like pictures of the person
Right.
that they were with in the house. And I was like, I could scream, but like, like, what do I say to somebody? Because I'm actually somewhere that nobody knows me. And I was like, I want to go back to the shoe store. I mean, I had to be very straightforward and adamant, but it was scary, because I'm like, he could say anything to
Yeah.
them. Oh, she's this, she's that, in his own language. And, you know, eventually
Hmm.
we just went back to the hotel, and I remember telling my agent, and they told the meet director, and because he was like, that was awful. And so I was happy that they stood up for me and they did something for me. But I understand that maybe for some people that could be their agent, or it could be the meet director, and they want to perform. But I just feel like
Right.
there's nothing there's nothing really worth that. No, there's no bag that's worth like your peace of mind. And because I feel like once you give somebody
Hmm.
leeway, then they'll expect to have that same leeway again. And so for me, like I said, I was trying to figure out, like, do I run? I was like, I don't even know which way to run if I run out, because, and so that was my
Right.
experience. It was scary,
Right.
but I was glad that I spoke to, like I said, I told my agent right away, like, this is what happened. And I'm glad that they were very proactive in doing something about it. That was important for me. I think if they would have been like, he didn't mean anything by it, I would have been like, oh, okay, so you on their side. So I need a new agent. So I would
Okay.
just say
Yeah, you on
definitely
his
speak
side.
out to those in positions of power who can do something, and then see what they do. They should act
Yeah.
in fairness and things like that.
Okay. Absolutely. Now you inspire a lot of
Yeah.
people. You got Tummy Tuesdays. Um, who are some of the people that inspired you to become
Um,
who you
For
are?
sure, my mom. My mom has always told me I was the best. Even when I was losing, she was saying I was the best. And she would never let me be
Yes.
negative. She was like, you could run 47. I'm like, 47? So if I said you could run 47, I said it. And I'm like, whoa, okay, I'm not going to be arguing with you about this. But I'm just
That's
glad that I
right,
have someone
Mama.
of her
That's
in my
right.
corner. Growing up, when I was watching the Olympics, I watched like Kathy Freeman run in front of her home, the Australian country, and as the Aboriginal, it was just
2000.
like amazing to see, because all the announcers talked about was the pressure for her to win because she kept getting second and things like that, and so that
Yes.
really inspired me to really pursue what I love in the midst of any type of pressure or adversity. So watching that race really inspired me. So yeah, though I would say
Nice.
those are the top people in my life that really push me towards my goals. I mean, even though I never met Kathy and she doesn't know, but just watching that and what she said in her speech, yeah.
She may be watching this. She may be watching this. Yeah, because I was there that year. And Marlon said, rumor has it that you just can sing.
That's not true. That's wrong. That's why it's a rumor. I'm
It's
trying to
not
tell
true.
you. I'm trying to tell you, only thing I can do, I can blend in with other people. So if it's about 50 other people, I can blend on in with them, and you're not gonna know where I'm coming from. But
Yeah.
people who got a good ear gonna be like somebody off key. That's gonna be me.
Yeah. Somebody's off key. Now, which country was your favorite country to compete in?
Probably. It's not just because I did well, even though I really liked Paris. I really liked Paris, and I really
Okay.
liked Paris. I did well there, but the crowd and things like that. I just really enjoyed it so much. I really did. I really did.
My favorite
Mm.
place was Italy. And it wasn't because of my
Mhm.
performance. It was the food. The food in Italy, and then
Mm.
neck and neck, I would say probably
Okay,
Croatia.
so then if we talking about food, that was Oslo. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness,
we got
Oslo
because
had
we're
this
talking about food.
buffet. I mean, they had gluten free. They had all these. I
Oslo,
love them. I want
yes.
to go back. I gave it.
Yeah, Oslo. It was daylight for about 23 hours. I didn't know that it was evening until the restaurants were closed. It was just so weird.
Uh-huh.
Oslo, and I want to
Okay.
say Finland is like that, where it just
Yeah.
messes up your timing and you ready to run,
Yeah.
but you're like, it's like 2 in the morning. Yeah. Have you ever experienced like jet lag, but you still had to
I
run,
did.
put it down and
There's
run
nothing worse
fast?
than your flight being delayed, and then instead of you getting there, 2 days before or the day before, it's like, oh,
Mm,
I'm getting there the day of. I'm getting there at 6 a.m. I run at 8 p.m.
mm,
Or, I'm getting there
yes.
11 at night, and then I run the next morning. Um,
Nice. Now, did you speak any foreign language, or did you
no,
pick up
I
any
only
little
learned
bit?
that like Italian is very similar to like Spanish, and I was like, oh, I should have paid more attention to Senora Fish when I was in high school. She only taught me two things.
Me
She
too.
only
I
taught
was
me two
thinking it
things.
too.
Can I sharpen
Yeah,
my
I was thinking
pencil?
it too.
Yeah.
But you know, people will help you
You know
out.
what helped me?
They will help you
Google
out because
Translate.
most of them speak English.
Google Translate helped me. I'm for real, because people could actually, I could speak into it and they could hear it, and then they could speak back into it on your phone. And then they told me Google Translate really saved my life when I was overseas a lot, because there's all the different
Nice.
languages. So
And see, we didn't have that. We didn't even have Rosetta Stone. Like what I had to do old school, I had to literally sit in the lobby, ask the receptionist, what does this mean? What does this
oh
mean?
wow.
And they would help me. And before you know it, I'm ordering food. I'm asking where the toilet is. I'm speaking, and they were surprised. They will help you out. But most people, when they try to learn a foreign language, they always learn the bad
Yeah.
words, like the words that'll get you
Yeah.
beat up. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, Italy was great. Now what was the longest flight that you ever
Probably
been
to
on?
Doha, between there and probably Japan. I think they both were over 12 hours. So,
Yeah, I did a 15-hour flight
okay.
to Australia.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
it hurt me to this day. My whole time has been that messed up ever
I
since
flew
then.
Qatar Airways
Now
though, and
what
they shout out to them because they were so good.
Qatar,
The
yes,
food
Qatar,
and the
they
little
treat you right
sleep, I
though.
was knocked out. But you're right. Other than that, it's tough. So
Now what type of music did you listen to get you,
it,
ready to win
it
those
really do
medals?
depend on the season. But I'm already a person who's on 1,000. I don't need to go to 15,000. So like anything, some people could be like DMX and all of them. They're gonna put me too over the top. I need to calm down. I need to calm down. I did sometimes I listen to gospel music, but other times I'm like, come on, Nipsey, you got to take me. That was like Nipsey. I love J.
Hey,
Cole, Drake. Something I can
yes.
kind of move to. They're talking. The flow is just kind of like subtle. The beat isn't too, like I said, anything. Like once you think of like DMX and like all of that's gonna take me on 10,000. But I really did. With whoever I listen to, they have to be saying something worth listening to. But when I was in college, like Nicki Minaj, that Pink album, Moment for Life and things like that, those were my
Yes.
songs. I'm like, ooh, I can have this moment. I was like, okay, this is the moment.
Yeah.
So I was a big Nicki fan, a big Rick Ross fan when I was in Lil Wayne when I was in
They have good
college.
music.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh man, this is fantastic. So how do you like coaching the youth
It's definitely
nowadays?
different. A lot of things that I feel I expect the kids to know, they don't, which is so surprising to me. Some of the basic skills and basic necessities, I just expected them to kind of be like, like, you know how to do an A skip, you know how to do a B skip. Like, I'm surprised I have to
Right.
keep showing you and telling you how to do certain things. But I really enjoy it because I
Yes.
feel like it's my way of giving back. It's my way of pouring into the sport and educating kids on how to do at least the basic things. So that's really important for me. That's really important. So I do enjoy it. It is it can be frustrating, I think, at times. It can be frustrating because, especially, I'm like, oh my gosh, I said this 5 times and y'all not getting it. Like, why don't y'all get it? And then I'm like, okay, get on the line. You got that, huh? You got to get on the line. So, but I really enjoy it, to
Oh
help a
man.
kid. I always wanted to, I was a psychology undergrad and a sports management graduate student. And so I've always wanted to help kids bridge the gap. I feel like I know a lot of coaches, I know a lot of people. And if I can help just one kid get to school or receive some type of financial aid, that would be really helpful. Or just kind of educate them, like, this is how this goes. There's so many kids like D1 or but their whole dream is like D1. That's all they see. And I'm like, y'all don't got no D1 work ethic. Y'all don't have no D2 work ethic. Y'all don't have no D work ethic. Any of the D's, any NAIA, like, y'all don't have that type of structure. And so if I can just kind of educate them and give them a little insight into how this is how it's gonna be. This is how it's gonna be. This
Right.
is
The
what's gonna be
truth.
asked of you. What I'm asking of you,
Yes.
you said you want it, but you didn't realize it until now that you have it. And so, is this what you really want to do? And so, I'm enjoying it. I'm learning a lot. I'm learning. Oh my gosh, no kids are. I mean, I wasn't really a student of the sport, but I'm like, man, y'all don't know enough for y'all to have all these ideas. I'm like, where'd you get this from? Instagram. Oh my goodness, look at Instagram.
But you have a
Thank
great program.
thank
You have a
you.
great program. And
Yeah.
shouts out
You
to
know
your
we
high
on the
school
map.
program, Spalding
Yeah.
Archbishop.
Archbishop
Beep, beep, beep,
Spalding.
beep,
We on the map. Cause let me tell you, this girl, this woman, cause she looks so young, but she really, cause she talked about how she was in school back in the day. She was like, y'all always had a track team? Girl, yes. She said, for how y'all just got it? No, we 20 plus years in. We ain't just
No.
get a track team. So they're doing so well.
Right.
They're definitely on the map now. And a lot of that I can just attest to them buying into the new structure and the new program and the new culture that I've wanted to create, and I'm still creating there to just try to help them realize that it takes a lot
Yes.
to get to the next stage, no matter what stage that is. So
Absolutely. So now what do you want your legacy to be?
I want my legacy to be, as I said earlier, the bridge. I want to be a bridge. I want my legacy to be a bridge that, whether this coach, this friend, uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, this person really helped me, and was in a sense, like a bridge for me to get over whatever it was, whether it's troubled water, whether it's grades, whether it's to school, whether it's the next step in my life. I want to be able to say that I contributed to somebody making it to the other side of wherever it is that they wanna go to. And I feel like I've been able to do that. I've been professional for 11 years. I've had so many different people reach out to me about agents, reach out to me about coaches, reach out to me, and I just realized
Mm.
I can help somebody make a next step for them personally. I mean, it's not going to be all me because ultimately the decision is theirs, but with the information I have, with the knowledge I have, I can share with them and or encourage them or inspire them, and it'll allow them to make a better decision because it's more informed, or it's more informed. So that's what I really want to be able to be, a bridge, because I realize I've always said, like, there's a gap. There's some coaches or some people who kind of only care about themselves or only care about what they can get out of a situation. And for me, it's more so like, how can I be this bridge, and or even how can I be a part of watering this seed, even looking at it that way from like a gardening perspective. Like, I'm not the seed, I'm not the person who, I
Yes.
might not be the person who planted it, but if I am the person who tended to it at some point, or I helped water it, or I gave it sunlight, or whatever the case may be,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in charge of how it grows
Yes.
and how it will grow, but at least I know that I've done my best to ensure that it can sustain and it can still thrive in the midst of whatever the circumstances may be. So
Nice. Now, have you ever thought
I've
about writing a
thought
book?
about, well, I've started to write like a devotional. My cousin has always, she's like, you need to write this book about, I'm like, woo, I'm gonna get back to you. But I'm a writer. I really am. I'm a writer. Ooh, I'm gonna get back to
You
you.
say, woo.
But
Yeah.
I'm definitely a writer. I love writing things. My friends will tell you, when you get a birthday card from me, for the most part, it's gonna be very long, and it's probably front and back. So I love writing. Eventually,
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of book I will write, but like I said, I've started like a devotional that I kind of just want to, excuse me, just help people, join the journey is a hashtag that I started
Yeah.
for myself. I'm pretty sure other people have used it for different reasons, but me personally, back in 20, 2014, one of those years. And it's just been about, so my book will or my devotional devotional, whatever it is that I write will have something to do with joy in the journey and what that can mean for different people in different seasons of their life. So,
Yes. Look, this has been a dynamite
okay.
interview. I'm going to wrap it up, but I wanted to
Okay.
do some word association
Yeah.
to just give just to get
Okay.
your opinion and the first thing that comes to your
Okay.
mind, and then we can wrap it up. But this has been great. I didn't know you was
A
this
lot of
funny.
people don't know that I'm as
You
funny
are
as I am.
hilarious.
My
Hey,
really close friends. I
you
got
got
some
some
really close friends.
comedy
They
going on.
realize they like foolish. You are nothing but foolish right now. I'm like, that's me. It is me.
You are funny, but you have so
Yeah.
many gifts, though. You have so
Okay.
many gifts. So, okay, here we go. One word.
Martin.
Sitcoms. Nice. Okay. Um,
Love.
Relationships. Okay.
Simpsons.
Cartoons. Really? Okay. Yeah, I love The Simpsons too. Okay. 100 meters.
Flojo.
Nice. Oh, snap. You are doing it. All right, two more. Paris.
Paris. Yeah.
No, I was more like Paris,
The
like
Tower.
France. Okay. See,
It
because you said Paris
was.
was one of your
I
favorite
didn't know if you was
places. So
talking about Paris Hilton.
okay, the Eiffel
Yeah.
Tower. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's the
So
first thing come to your mind. All right. And last but not least, Morgan Freeman.
he's that voice. I can't even do his voice. Morgan Freeman got a voice. I could just only think of a voice he got.
Oh, now hear me clear. Oh, they got handed 4-5 times. I would have helped them, but I'm
Yes.
here narrating the
Yes, a
story.
narrator, if nothing else. Yes.
The voice. Yes.
Thank
Oh
you.
man. Well, thank you. Look, we had a
Thanks
blast
for
with you.
having me.
Thank you for stopping in and Stay in Your Lane show. For everybody, the show will be posted on Spotify, and I'm gonna chop up certain sections where you
Okay.
can really get for promotion, so y'all can
Thank
come
you.
check out the live. But thank you so much
All
for coming through.
right.
All right,
I'm gonna
champ.
see you out there on the
All
track,
right.
coach. Okay. Okay.
Yes, I'm gonna be on the other side, but we're gonna work together because I want to actually do some speed clinics with you. And I'm having a track meet coming up May 20th at it's called the Stay in Your Lane Relays, the Stay in Your Lane Invitational. And so I know you have your schedule, but if you know some people or some teams that are not, send them my way. And I really would love to collaborate with you because we have a lot in common.
Thank you again. All right.
All right, thank you. All right.